Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another YouTube NFL podcast video. Today, I am here with Anthony, Nick G, and of course, my right-hand man, Frank. So, guys, finally, the playoffs are here. We have waited a long time, it feels, we're all the way in January, new year. So today we are just going to start talking about the playoffs for you guys. Frank, why don't you start us off?
All right, so the first game tomorrow at 4:30 is going to be Seattle versus the 49ers.
Yeah, so the thing is, the 49ers are one of those teams like that. They just have everything. They have just a stacked roster. I think they'll breeze by Seattle. I think this is one of the biggest wins of the week. And just Brock Purdy hasn't lost a game yet. We'll see if he loses to one of these teams in the NFC playoffs. But, with Ayuk and Debo coming back, and Kittle. So I just think the defense for the 49ers carries them too. Everything just works for the 49ers, and that's going to give Seattle a really tough game. Even though at a point Seattle could keep it close. I'm not saying they're out of it, but I think the 49ers can win this in a landslide.
Yeah, I agree with what you said, Jake. Also, just something for concern, Brock Purdy, you said, has never lost a game, but also he's never played a playoff game before. So I wonder if the nerves are going to be a big factor in his performance. And they already played twice, and Seattle lost both of those games. So I don't think Seattle's going to win, but I think they're definitely going to give him a better shot.
All right.
What do you guys think?
I honestly feel like for anybody that's not a 49ers fan, I feel like everybody wants Seattle to win because I don't think anybody wants to play the 49ers.
That is true, yeah.
I don't think the game's going to be a blowout because it is a divisional game, so it could go either way. But the way that the 49ers defense is, I don't really think that the Seahawks are going to be able to keep up with them. And I know Brock Purdy hasn't really played in like a big-time game yet, but it's very easy to win with that team, surrounded by all those stars. So
yep.
I feel like they're not going to win by a lot, but I definitely think the 49ers are going to advance.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I think that it's going to be a good game just because of the divisional game, and also because I feel like the Seahawks are there to prove something, too. They got into that 7th seed, and Pete Carroll's going to try to coach them the best he can. And Gino's been great this year, so I think we're in for a good game, though. I do think the Niners are going to win, though.
Yeah. And just for a second out of the playoffs, I want to mention that a lot of people thought the Packers were just going to win that game just because the Lions had nothing to play for. But there was nothing more than the Lions wanted than to ruin the Packers' season. That's what they wanted. Yeah. So I took the Lions all the way, and, I'm happy Seattle's in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And
both of these teams know each other really well. So
absolutely.
I think they're really going to – it's going to be a closer game. And also, if you look at Pete Carroll's record in playoff games, he's pretty good at playoff games. Kyle Shanahan, he's good as well. So it should be a really exciting game.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't really think it's not. There's no shot. I don't think it's gonna be a blowout because the Seahawks have really good their defense isn't really good, but they have
good chemistry.
Yeah, and they have a pretty solid secondary,
and they're young
with
too.
Tariq Woolen and Quandre Diggs. So, and I feel like they like to throw the ball deep. Brock Purdy likes to throw the ball deep. So I honestly don't think the Seahawks are out of this one.
It's going to be up to if they can guard Kittle. That's what I think. If they can guard Kittle, it's going to be a different game. Right?
Yeah.
I feel like if you just throw Tariq Woolen on him, if you have him near him, he's a big boy.
Yeah, also if Seattle can get pressure with 4 people, that'll be big also because there are a lot of weapons on that 49ers front, and if they need a blitz to get pressure on Brock Purdy, it's going to be a tough night.
Yeah, definitely.
He hasn't been sacked a lot, I don't think.
No,
not much.
They have a really good O-line with Trent Williams and them.
Yeah.
It's in the single digits, I think.
Yeah, the 49ers right now have been debatably the best team in the NFL over the past 2 months.
I feel like for the Seahawks to win this game, they have to blitz him because once they start hitting him, he's going to get happy.
Yeah, you can't let him have that much time in the pocket.
He's going to be like Brady. Once you start hitting him, he's going to start throwing stupid passes, I think.
Yeah.
All right, the next game later that day is the Chargers versus the Jaguars.
So this is, in my opinion, one of the better games we're going to see this weekend. I don't believe many people still understand how good Trevor Lawrence has been playing for the Jags, but I mean, we all just found out Mike Williams is out
Yeah.
for this game. So, yeah, that's a really tough loss. If Trevor Lawrence could just keep doing what he was doing, like when he played against the Cowboys or when he played against the Titans in the second time, if he can do that and just be able to be that quarterback that's going to go down the field and win them that game, I think the Jaguars can win this one really close, though. I think this is a close game, but I'm going to actually take the Jags.
Yeah, and Trevor Lawrence has been a top 5 quarterback past 2 months. I know last week he struggled against Tennessee, but Tennessee really has a great defense and a great head coach, so I can see why he struggled, but I think this is going to be a closer game too. I just think Herbert is the better quarterback as of right now, but I'm a little worried because the Jaguars have the better head coach than Doug Peterson.
Yeah.
So this is one thing I'd like to add. So if the Chargers do end up losing this game, which I mean, obviously looking at the beginning of the year, everyone had them favorites probably to they would win this game at the beginning of the year.
Oh, yeah.
But it's obviously now because the Jaguars have been hot. If they lose this game, do you think about firing Ronnie Staley because of him? Brandon Staley, because of playing Mike Williams last week, which caused his injury, and now they're all banged up too.
I think it's
It's not a garbage time game that was.
I say yes.
I think you definitely consider it.
Yeah.
Because if you look at Sean Payton out there, I mean,
He's on the hot seat now, yeah.
Yeah.
Sean Payton, everyone's looking at Sean Payton right now. So, I mean, if they get bounced, if it isn't really that close either, too,
Yeah.
if you look at it like that, then you want to bring someone else in to help Justin Herbert.
I still feel the Chargers could take advantage of the weaknesses of Trevor Lawrence, even though he's been playing really well. He still has I feel like he's still weak when he's getting blitzed a lot, like against very good defensive line and stuff like that. So if they get on his ass a little bit, maybe we'll see a really close game. I think.
I think I want to take the Chargers because I don't think what's his name, Trevor Lawrence is going to be able to keep up with Herbert. I feel like Herbert's going to. I think Herbert has the ability to go down and score every drive. He's just one of those amazing quarterbacks, and I don't think at the end of the day, I don't think Trevor Lawrence is playing really good, but I don't think he's going to be able to keep up with Herbert.
Yeah, and we've seen mostly from Trevor Lawrence as that second half guy. Like in the first half, it seems that he struggles a little more than he would in the second half. Just like when he played the Cowboys and the Titans, in the first half of both of those games, he wasn't really great. It looked like the Titans and the Cowboys were going to end up winning that game, but no, he ended up coming back in the second half and winning those games. If Trevor Lawrence could pick it up in the first half of games and just stick right to the back of Justin Herbert, I think he could keep this really close.
Yeah, and Trevor Lawrence has had some fumbling issues this season, so if he definitely steps that up, he'll be better. And also, for the Chargers, they still have weapons. They still have Keenan Allen, Austin Eckler, Everett. They still have really good weapons to throw to, and that can move the chains on this Jaguars defense. So
yeah, and I feel like we've all known so many people who had the Chargers going to the Super Bowl this year, before the season.
And a lot of people have counted the Chargers out this year as well too. When they were, 3 games behind at the wild card, and they just somehow managed to win. I don't know how many straight, but they really pulled it together the second half of the season.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think Mike Williams being out is going to be a huge
crucial for Herbert too.
Absolutely,
I
yeah.
feel like
He's his deep threat. That's what he is.
He is, yeah.
I feel like that's the one thing that's going to make this game a little closer than it should be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I heard Joey Bosa is also questionable as well.
Yeah, they both started, which they should not.
Because they got banged up. Yeah.
Yeah. He's really a great pass rusher for them.
I don't know what the Chargers were thinking. You didn't need to win. You were playing for nothing. You couldn't move your seat at that point. You were locked at the 5, right? You were locked.
Yeah, and they were playing the Broncos too. I mean,
yeah. Which they lost anyway.
Yeah.
Which does that give you a scare, since we all saw that the Chargers did play their starters for most of the game. Justin Herbert played for most of that game. He threw 47 passes in just that game. Does that give the Chargers a scare, and does that give the Jags a little bit of momentum because it's the Broncos we expected to be good and they weren't, and then they just beat.
I think the thing with that game is it'll motivate the Chargers, if anything, because they did play most of the game and they still lost, so they should be more motivated this game to play better.
Yeah,
And also, the Broncos are just coming off firing Hackett, and
that is true. Yeah,
Russell Wilson did have his best probably game as a Bronco that game, which was the last game of the season.
yeah.
All right, the next game is Sunday, 1 o'clock. My Dolphins versus the Bills.
Well, Frank, the Dolphins made it into the playoffs. Congratulations. But Buffalo, they are a heck of a team, man. They could make it to the Super Bowl, 100%. They're one of those three teams in the AFC that I think everybody thinks has a huge opportunity to make it to the Super Bowl. Do I personally think Buffalo is going to the Super Bowl? Not this year. But they will win this game against Miami. I believe Miami's actually going to keep this game closer than what the game should be because Josh Allen has had a huge problem over the past few weeks of the season. He has thrown a lot of interceptions. I mean, he is top 5 in interceptions thrown in like the past 8 weeks. So what you do is you take that away from Josh Allen and you just put him up 0 interceptions against the Dolphins. I think he'll still be able to get it done regardless of how many he throws in that game. I just think Buffalo is just a little bit too good for Miami right now, especially without Miami having a definite starting quarterback. I mean, they have Skylar Thompson in there who's going to be going up against this soon to be a legend,
Yeah. I don't want to count the Dolphins out, but I mean, they've definitely hit the injury bug because Tua's out, as we all heard about that. Teddy Bridgewater is a backup with some capacity because he broke his finger. Also, I saw something where the 3 starting O-linemen, Taron Armstead, who's a Pro Bowler, Eichenberg, the right tackle, so the blind side, and a different one, Brandon Shell. So 3 out of the 5, 6 starting linemen are all questionable to go. And the Bills don't even have a great pass rush, but if you don't have half of your starting linemen out there,
Yeah.
it's going to be a rough game no matter who is the
They're
quarterback.
gonna attack
Yeah.
the new guys. Yeah.
Yep.
And also, Skylar Thompson only had 150 yards against the Jets. They really couldn't move the ball.
Yeah.
And Tyreek got hurt.
Yeah, that was a...
He's not going to be 100%, but he'll still be out there.
Yeah, oh yeah, he'll play. Don't worry.
And, Mostert, it was either Mostert or Jeff Wilson. One of the running backs is out for this game as well, too.
jeez.
So they're out a lot of offensive key players.
Yeah, tough in Miami, especially since, they could have won the division as of week 5,
Yeah.
I mean, they were 5-0. Then they lost Tua to that scary injury, and it just kind of all fell apart from there, unfortunately, for the Dolphins.
So there's not much to say about this game, in my opinion. With Skylar Thompson, it's going to be a tough task, especially putting up 10 points last week.
Yeah,
11.
11
With the
points last
safety,
week
yeah.
against the Jets. So if Tua was here, maybe it'd be a different story. But I just think that there's no way Buffalo's going to let this one slip past them.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah, I agree with Gold. I don't think that. I just don't think the Dolphins are in a position right now to win a playoff game with all these injuries.
Yeah,
I don't. Without a quarterback, Tua was really good, and he's probably that was one of the main reasons you guys were winning games.
Yeah.
Until that, he was throwing up those weird signs, and when he got hurt. But yeah, I don't think they're in any position. It is a divisional game, so it could go.
Yeah.
It could be a little closer, but the Bills are just a powerhouse.
yeah.
I think this is going to be closer too, but Dolphins as of right now were 14-point underdogs, which is really a lot for a wild card playoff matchup.
Yeah.
It is.
All right, next game for Sunday at 4:30 is the Giants versus the Vikings.
Okay, so this is the one I've been waiting for all weekend. This is definitely my favorite matchup of the entire weekend. This will be the closest game, in my opinion. The Vikings are frauds. They have a -4 point differential. The only time that they have, that the game has been more or less than a touchdown for points was when they lost the games. All their 4 losses were blowouts.
Yeah.
They were just killed in every aspect of the game. They've squeaked out some games that they definitely shouldn't have. This is the biggest upset of the weekend. The Giants will beat the Vikings, in my opinion, and there will be two NFC East teams at the very least going to the division round of the playoffs.
I agree with that as well because I know we're not all very high on the Vikings or Kirk Cousins very much. So
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, they have Justin Jefferson, but it's just Saquon. I think he's gonna just turn it on
yeah.
in the playoffs. He's here,
Both of the teams have great players, but I mean, if you look at Brian Dable, what he's been able to do
Yep.
for this Daniel Jones offense with all the receivers getting hurt or like Kenny Galladay getting benched, all that stuff that's been happening, Saquon getting hurt, what they've been able to do, pull through and just keep surviving. They've been really good. And when they played a couple weeks ago, the Giants only lost by 3 points on a game-winning field goal. So it was a really, really close game.
Yeah, I do think the Giants are going to win this one. It's just because I feel like the way the Giants win these games is because they stay on the field for a while when they're on offense, and the Vikings have a hard time. Their defense has a hard time getting off the field, and I feel like the Vikings' defensive line isn't amazing.
Yeah.
And the Giants are just a ground and pound team with Saquon, really. And just with them controlling the clock, I just think that they're gonna have. It's gonna be a pretty good game, but I just think them controlling the game on offense and then the defense not being able to get off the field, I feel like it's gonna be a pretty easy win.
Yeah.
Also, I feel like as a Cowboys fan, I really want the Vikings to win because I don't want to go to San Fran.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you want... Well, no, you would want the Giants to win because they...
The lower seed.
Oh, yeah.
The Eagles would get the lower seed, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, maybe the Vikings.
See,
we want the Vikings to win, but
Yeah.
it's not gonna
see, if you asked me this in the beginning of the week who I thought was going to win, I'd say the Giants. But like looking at this now, I think the Vikings are going to win. That's what I think. Because I've been thinking about it, and like the Vikings are hearing all this. They're seeing that everyone thinks the Giants could win this game, so it's got to make them pissed off. You got to think. And then I'm looking at the cornerback and receiver matchups. Like the Vikings have that bagged
Yeah.
with their corners versus the Giants receivers. Like they shouldn't have a problem against whoever Daniel Jones is throwing the ball to.
It's also. Wait, which way are you talking? You talking
It's
like,
I'm saying Minnesota's going to win the game. I think
because
Patrick Peterson and whoever else is on the Vikings should not have a problem with like Isaiah Hodges and like Richard
Okay,
James.
I thought you were saying.
Yeah,
I'm saying
you're
it vice
right.
versa. I thought you were saying like the Giants.
I really feel like this game is going to be close, but like the Vikings have played. I'm not going to say so well because obviously the record shows they played well, but they're a good enough team that they should make it out of the first round in my opinion. So.
It is also a Kirk Cousins 4:30 game.
It is. He's not playing at 1.
But he needs to prove that he can win in besides one. So let's see what he can do.
And also, against the Eagles last week, the Giants did rest most of their starters, but they played really their tails off against the Eagles, and they wouldn't let them, go to a blowout. So,
Yeah.
I mean, maybe you made a point there. Maybe the Giants did play one of their best games of the season, and Kirk Cousins will finally get it going.
One thing too is Justin Jefferson had a shitty week last week. He's not going to
That's
want
true.
that to happen again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's not going to let that happen again.
Yeah. What do you have? 1 catch or 2 catches?
He was basically iced for like under 20 yards, I think.
Yeah.
Jair Alexander.
Yeah, and even I guess a way the Vikings could win is, they've been to the playoffs before with Kirk Cousins, Dalvin Cook, all those players. If they get to get a ground game going with Dalvin Cook, and they find a way to like manage that clock, do 8-9 minute drives, they could win. But they just can't have Kirk Cousins throw the ball like any turnovers, stuff like that. I think
It's got to be smart.
Yeah.
the quarterback with the more turnovers is probably going to lose. That's my opinion because.
The team with the more turnovers.
The team, yeah. Because I'm guessing Daniel Jones, Kirk Cousins will probably each throw a pick, maybe 2 even. So it'll definitely be a close game for both teams.
Should be more rushes in that game. There should be more passes.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Because if you look who the Giants have to throw to, Richie James,
Exactly.
Hodges, they have Bellinger or something like
tight
that.
end that's coming back.
Tight end, yeah. They have good players, but they're nothing spectacular like Justin Jefferson.
But the
Adam
Vikings
Thielen.
defense could definitely contain those players. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As long as they get off the field.
And the Vikings defense could get after Daniel Jones with Danielle Hunter. He's been really good. And they have someone else, I forget his name.
6'7"
Came
great
from
year
Green Bay.
linebacker.
Yeah.
They have a lot of good players.
It's definitely a close game, but I'm just going to take the Giants in the upset because I think in the wild card there's always a game or two that does upset I just think this is the one. Like as we saw, last year when the Cowboys lost to the Niners, and when the Packers lost to the Niners as well.
Yeah,
There's some upsets. That
yeah,
happen.
those were technically considered upsets. So
Yeah.
Was the Cowboys game an upset?
I want to say yeah.
They were favored against the.
Yeah, Dallas was favored in that game.
Dallas sucks. I hate them.
The next game, Sunday Night Football, is going to be the Ravens and Bengals. And just to clarify, Lamar is still doubtful to play,
Yeah,
so we'll take that as a grain of salt.
yeah. So it's looking like Lamar will not be playing.
Anthony
So-
Brown to get the start then, right? Tyler Huntley's not up either.
I don't
Yeah.
think,
Yeah, so I just think I think Lamar or not, the Bengals will slaughter them. I really don't think this is a close game at all. I just think the Ravens they had something going when Lamar was still healthy, and then they fell off after he left. And I mean, like I said, Lamar or not, I think the Bengals are just going to kill him all day, every aspect of the game.
So I would say I would go with Bengals as well, but I think it's going to be closer because they did play last week, and the Ravens got killed as well. So
Yeah.
I would like to say 2 straight weeks they wouldn't lose in blowout games.
Yeah, I was happy the Ravens didn't win that game because that would have totally mixed it up. Like they would have done a coin toss to see what field the game was played
That's
on.
true. That's true. But also, as you said, Lamar changes the way the Ravens play. Like their whole offensive scheme is set up for him. Like all the receivers, the run game. No offense to Anthony Brown.
Lamar 3.0.
Yeah, I just don't think he's going to be able to move the ball. And the Bengals are probably going to play 8-man rotation for the defense. Stuff the run game and make them throw. And they just don't really have great receivers, anyways. Besides Mark Andrews.
I feel like if Lamar played, the Ravens could take this game. That's what I feel like. But since he's not playing, I think the Bengals are taking this game because with Lamar, they're just so much more dynamic on offense. That's just the truth of it.
Yeah,
And then, yes, the Bengals have beat them before, but they'd want to come. They're still going to want to come back and win, obviously.
Yeah.
But Lamar has something to prove this year. You're looking for a contract, looking for a team. So if he was playing, I think they'd have a good chance to win this game. But
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to win without him. That's it.
yeah,
Yeah, I think the Bengals are going to win pretty easily. Their defense. I mean, with Lamar being out, and this is their third string quarterback they're using, right?
Yeah.
He's not going to throw the ball, and I
He's
mean,
going to try.
he's
gonna
gonna
try,
try.
try.
it could work because the Bengals have given up the most yards receiving.
Mark Andrews is going to be a big factor. I think
Because once Chidobe Awuzie got injured, the Bengals have been giving up a lot of yards per game, receiving wise. But I mean, I just think that the Bengals are going to win against the third string. He's not going to know how to play in a playoff game.
Yeah, and I just don't think it'll be close with Lamar or not, just because even if Lamar did happen to play, he's coming back. He's not gonna be 100% coming into the game, and he's not gonna be as mobile. So that's just another thing that the Bengals are gonna take advantage of. Trying to keep him in the pocket, because when he does roll out, I mean, he's not gonna be running every single play.
Lamar could sling it, though, too. That's
yeah.
In a divisional game, that's why, if Lamar was playing, I'd really consider
It'd be
taking
a
the
great
Ravens.
game, I would think.
I think so. I think that, people undervalue Lamar Jackson as a quarterback. That's what I think.
And with his injury, it's not even worth it to go out there, even if he's 50%, because of that contract. If he gets hurt again, this is his second straight year getting hurt towards the playoffs.
Yeah.
If he gets another big injury, the Ravens aren't going to pay him. Maybe they'll franchise tag him, but he's not going to get that bag that he wants. And they're just so undermanned right now. The Ravens front office, I have no clue what they're doing because they need to give him support. And I mean, they have Mark Andrews, J.K. Dobbins, but for the receiving core,
They've been banged up all
that's
year.
the worst in the
team.
league,
That's problem.
probably.
So while we're on this topic, what do we think about Lamar Jackson next year? What do we think?
Yeah, I was just about to say that. Could this be Lamar's last,
Raven.
Raven?
Last year in the Ravens uniform.
Yeah,
What do you
last
think?
year in the Ravens uniform.
Uh,
I say yes. I mean, I just think Lamar, it's time for him to go somewhere else, work with somebody new.
Yeah.
He's been there for a little while. That's really all I got to say. I have no clue where he would go, but
Yeah.
We
they
could
can make a trade.
We could also bring this up though too. What if D Hop goes there? then he's staying.
See,
You
Yeah.
just have to get him a wide receiver that he could work.
To answer that before, I ultimately think Lamar's going to end up staying in Baltimore. I think that there's going to be a lot of talks, a couple offers, but I think eventually they're going to match the offer and he's going to come back. And
I
play
just
for them.
I just don't understand why the front office would pay Roquan Smith $20 million before they paid Lamar Jackson, who is their whole offense. You know,
Yeah.
it doesn't make a lot of sense. You'd want to pay your quarterback before your middle linebacker. No offense to Roquan, he's a great player.
Yeah.
But you want to pay Lamar before him, obviously. You know, that could have angered Lamar a little bit.
Yeah.
And I agree with what Nick G said. If they do get D-Hop or another star receiver, like maybe even
Devontae even could be a
Devontae,
possibility.
Yeah. honestly.
Odell, someone who could just provide that number one potential for him. And even
Yeah.
if they draft
Because he
players-
hasn't had that. Like, I mean, he's had Mark Andrews, but they've been doubling him, you know? Like,
Marquise Brown's a player too, but he's not a number one
He's
receiver.
not a
That's
one,
the
no.
problem.
Yeah.
He's not a number one receiver.
He's a good number 2.
He was his number one receiver, but he's not a one.
he wasn't really healthy that much.
Yeah.
Either, he got hurt. And yeah, they never really provided the support for Lamar.
I think Lamar is going to stay, and I think they're going to put the pieces
I
together.
think so.
to
I think they're gonna get a running back and a receiver.
They're gonna
I'd like to see it.
They're going to find him a receiver.
But
I you know what I could I could see Josh Jacobs going there. Wasn't he a little pissed off about the Raiders
yeah,
too?
and his
I-
contract.
Yeah.
I think that'd be a good fit for him.
But I'm sure we were all thinking this last year. You know, they'd give him a wide receiver, they'd give him another running back, and look what they did.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
not too much to help him out.
And I doubt they use a draft pick on a wide receiver.
yeah.
Yeah, they're not known to be doing that, and it's kind of like the Packers situation. They said they're going to get Rodgers help, and they never really did. You know, same thing with Lamar.
Yeah, Christian Watson worked out
Christian
all right for
Watson's a
Rodgers.
stud.
Yeah.
Yeah,
In the
but
beginning, he wasn't.
it
Okay,
was hard to
but
develop a
he's
little more.
good. He's really.
Like,
He's,
so they
star.
didn't do what we thought they were going to do, but they did get him some help. I feel like.
Yeah.
That's
I think they still need to give him. If they get him D-Hop, still need to get him another receiver and a running back because J.K. Dobbins is hurt a lot. You know, their backup Gus Edwards is hurt a lot. A lot of their players are hurt. in
Kenyon
their
Drake's
offense.
going to leave, right?
Kenyon Drake
Yeah.
contract's probably up. He's on a 1-year deal. He'll probably leave. You know.
Yeah. Big contract here for the Ravens, just all around.
And they need to give him the good support that he needs to actually win playoff games and stay healthy. The whole line too.
They got to put the pieces around Tim this offseason. They got to build a team because if they don't build a team and they let him go, they're going to go into rebuilding mode.
Oh, yeah.
It could be the
They
Ravens.
let him go.
Like,
the
who would they
the
get?
Ravens are technically rebuilt.
Yeah, they're gonna be terrible for a while. I don't think they should get rid of him. They got to find the pieces right now.
Yep.
Yeah, but
What team would you like to see him go to, too, if he were to go somewhere?
Oh, boy.
I think Tampa would be nice.
Tampa would be kind of nice.
You think Brady's done?
I don't know. No, I don't think.
I don't
Brady's
think he's
done.
done, but I think he's done in
He's out.
Tampa.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think he's out of Tampa, especially if they lose to the Cowboys, which
Yeah.
we'll talk about next. But
Yep.
trying to think of maybe the Dolphins would be nice for Lamar. I wouldn't like to see it, but Fernando, the Jets would be really
What
nice
do we
too.
think of the
Yeah.
Jets? They're a really
Yeah.
young team with a promising. If they get that QB spot figured
Oh,
out,
yeah.
they're going to be a
Yeah.
filthy team.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, I think like half the teams in the league could use Lamar, but yeah,
Yeah.
it'd be really amazing to see him go.
So the
Dolphins.
Buccaneers and the Cowboys next game.
Yeah.
What do we got first?
So next game, Cowboys Bucks. So Brady is 7-0, I believe, against the Cowboys.
Yeah. Yeah. It hasn't
You guys-
been.
Yeah.
It hasn't been great.
Cow-
Is that in playoffs or in history?
They're not, I think it's history.
All over.
Just
But
all Tom Brady.
Yeah.
the Cowboys this year also 1-4 on grass.
I didn't know that.
So we're in a lose-lose situation.
eat some
but we're
grass
not
this
going
week.
to lose.
Well, do you guys think Brady's going to be 7-1 after this game, or
I think
8-0?
so. I think so.
You see,
Go first. Go ahead.
yeah. So the Cowboys. Oh boy, they played a just terrible performance against the Commanders last week, and oh my goodness, and it was just tough to say they played their starters. You know, if they didn't play their starters, I can understand why we lost that bad, and we only scored one touchdown. You know, but it just nothing went good. Micah Parsons has only had like 3 sacks in the past 6 weeks. I just think Dan Quinn is starting to use him wrong. And nothing to Dan Quinn, because I really like Dan Quinn as a defensive coordinator, because if you saw the Cowboys defense a few years ago with Mike and Nolan as their defensive coordinator, they couldn't stop a flea. So, I mean, they were giving up an average 35 points a game with Nolan back there. So, I do like Dan Quinn. I just think he needs to go back to what he was doing before. because it was working. Because in week 9, Micah had like 9 sacks. He was averaging a good 1 sack a game. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
he wasn't doing bad. I just think the defense needs to come together. Good news for the Cowboys though this game is that we don't have anybody at the starter that's injured in this game.
Wow.
That's good.
Leighton Vander Esch is coming back this week. Tyler Biotish, our center, is coming back this week, who I feel like definitely played a pivotal role last week against the Commanders that he wasn't out there. You know, that whole O-line together makes one good O-line, you know? So it's just the Cowboys were injury-free right now, but Tom Brady, could we beat him? If there was any time we could beat him right now,
Playoffs is when you
yeah,
need to.
yeah.
That's when he's the scariest. Tom Brady in the playoffs. That's
Yeah,
the problem.
Tom Brady's different in the playoffs, and that's what I'm scared of. I think the Cowboys will end up inching this game out very, very close, but I don't know.
It all starts with the quarterback.
Yeah.
And our quarterback is terrible. Like
Sometimes.
I mean, the past couple weeks.
Okay, yeah.
Maybe it's to the
What has he done good?
No. He is right, though, because the last 8 weeks, actually, Dak Prescott has thrown 16 interceptions in the past 8 weeks. He's averaging 2 interceptions per game, which is not great, and most of which have been thrown in the first half. So Dak has not been great.
And it
Go ahead, Nick.
sucks because like he'll throw a pick and then he'll go 18 for 18 after, or he'll go like he'll go 18 for 20, throw 2 incompletions. The 2 incompletions are picks. He tries to throw the ball where he doesn't have to. Like he'll have a wide open receiver. He'll try and throw it somewhere else to like
You just don't
lead
fix
them
it sometimes.
to
Yeah, he
lead them
does
somewhere when
overthink.
he can just hit them wide open. Like,
Yeah.
but that's besides the point. I think with the Dak has to step it up this week.
Yeah.
Like big time.
Yeah, this means a lot, especially for when he gets another contract here in 2 years, you know? Because if he's not winning these playoff games, they're not going to re-sign him, and they're going to get somebody who's better.
And a lot of people think that Dak has peaked since his rookie year because he's had that one playoff win, and then otherwise they just keep getting bounced in the playoffs. And also, when they versed Tampa earlier, they couldn't really get a run game going. I think to win this game, they definitely need to get a run game going. Like
Yeah.
we
Take
know
the pressure
how
off
explosive Pollard
Yeah.
can be.
Now, that was thank you for saying that, actually, because that was a key factor in why the Cowboys lost to the 49ers in a wild card last year, because we only ran Zeke on every single down. Zeke was so tired. Tony Pollard was sitting there like totally fresh. We need to get both of our running backs involved in this game. Kellen Moore needs to do the right thing, and he needs to split the carries between Tony Pollard and Zeke.
Also, Kellen Moore's play calling has been terrible.
Oh,
the
yeah.
past couple
Oh,
weeks.
yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
we started so hot.
Yep.
We started like maybe not hot, but once we started rolling, and Kellen Moore was playing, like his calls were amazing.
Yep.
But also, it is good.
Like, I don't know why he switches it up like that. Like, why do you switch something that's working?
Because nothing is ever accurate with the Cowboys. They can never do something consistently.
It's
Because
true.
we both haven't been alive for a Super Bowl,
Yeah.
and this is why I'm not worried at all about this game, because if they lose, nothing's gonna happen
It's
to
gonna
me
be-
because
you
I'm so
expect- you
used to
expect it, yeah.
it happening
Yeah.
every year. But also, our defense is completely healthy. I brought this up in the car on the way here. Our defense is completely healthy.
Definitely a top
Defense is
three,
top,
top
our
three
defense
defensive
is
player.
top 3,
Yeah,
and
definitely.
it's probably number 2 to be honest, right? Like
Yeah,
when healthy,
49ers, Dallas,
49ers then
Eagles.
Dallas.
Maybe Philly, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, those three.
Top 3. They're top 3.
Yeah, they're definitely tough.
But with them being healthy now, and the Buccaneers have been terrible all year.
Yeah.
But it is Tom Brady in the playoffs. But I feel like with our defense being completely healthy, and we have to use Micah Parsons the right way.
Yes.
You have to let him start rushing the quarterback a lot more.
Yeah, he needs to flatten Brady Monday night.
That's what I said. Once you start hitting Brady, then he starts getting happy feet. Then he's not going to be playing the right way. So you got to hit him.
And
So say you guys can't get those hits on Brady. Do you think that you guys are going to lock up Mike Evans and Chris Godwin and be able to stop Tom Brady on offense?
I say
If you can't get pressure, that's
Kenny
100%.
Bray,
I say yes, because we have a very young receiving quarterback, or not receiving quarterback, secondary. We don't have anybody in the secondary, I believe, under like 26 years old back there.
Is Browns back?
Brown is not back right now because we
That's
have
fine now.
Trayvon Diggs and this rookie who
Deron
actually,
Bland.
Deron Bland,
It's amazing.
who actually has like 7 interceptions this season. That's more than Diggs. So
Catches the ball through people.
yeah, literally. And then of course we got Trayvon Mullen and just added Xavier Rhodes as well. So we do have a lot of depth for this game, which I do like. But we'll see what happens. I just think Dak needs to pick it up. Michael Gallup, get him more involved, get CD more yards, Schultz, Ferguson, Peyton Hendershot. We have the weapons.
This is a revenge game.
It's just that Dak just can't get it done. And yeah, not all of the interceptions are Dak's fault, but a good majority are. Like, yeah, I've definitely seen at least 1 or 2 that have bounced off of the chests of receivers, that definitely should have been caught, but
there's definitely a few that he's thrown right.
absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely.
13 of the 16 are his fault.
Yeah.
The one of them out of the 16, CD stopped running his route.
Yeah.
The other 2, they hit off. They're not his fault because they hit the wide receiver's chest and just bounced off.
Yep.
13 of them is his fault, and he can't do that.
Yeah, I think
That's still too many for 6 weeks. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
And both of these teams have been struggling, but moving on to Tampa, what is going on with Leonard Fournette? Last couple of years, he has been amazing. This year, he just fell off at the face of the earth. He got hurt. Rashid White's taking.
I think that's their game plan, though.
Play off
I think that they should start using him this week more. I think they want to get Rashad White the experience to be ready for the playoff game, but they know Fournette's ready for the playoffs.
Yeah. Yeah, they're 32nd rushing. So, that could be good for the Cowboys defense.
They're
But
getting Donovan Smith back and a couple other linemen, so they should be able to run better. Not amazing with the Dallas D line, but
I can't wait to see. I want to see Parsons and Wharf go at it. I want to see if they line them up against Tristan Wharf.
oh, they will. Yeah, it's going to be Parsons.
That'll be good just to watch the game. This game, though. That will
Yeah.
You double
Yeah.
teaming Demarcus Lawrence the whole time, and
Yeah.
and I'm sure
Parsons can also
Mike
do
Evans will probably get a couple double teams thrown his way. It's just Tom Brady. Both of these teams, whoever wins, they need luck because both of these teams have been struggling. Brady and the Bucks lost to Atlanta last week. They barely beat the Cardinals, or no, the Panthers. My bad. The Cowboys got blown out by Washington. Both of these teams have been struggling. And whoever wins, it's going to be a really close game. So we're going to see.
I feel it's going to be a good game. Yes.
Yeah, neither of these teams are coming in with much momentum after last week.
Yeah.
The Falcons obviously beat Tampa, and the Cowboys lost to the Commanders. So, it's honestly, as much as I hate to say it, this game's as even as you can get it.
Do you think if the Cowboys lose or get blown out, Mike McCarthy is fired?
I hope so.
I say yes. I say you definitely keep it in consideration. McCarthy has to, my opinion, maybe championship game. Or he's gone. You have to get the Cowboys past
He doesn't have the
positional round.
so he's got to get past
absolutely.
the first round to,
Yeah.
to be safe at least. Yeah.
Yeah, at least the first round. You have to beat a team that shouldn't make it to the second round. The Bucks suck. They're terrible.
They really don't have that many weapons on offense besides for Evans and Godwin.
Because
Yeah.
Hines a rookie. They have Julio Jones. He's been banged up. Scotty Miller. He is what he is. He's
he's
fast.
the deep threat. That's what he is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it should be a really close game. But I'm who would you promote then if you find McCarthy?
I think you look for someone free.
Yeah, you have to.
We're gonna
Sean Payton? I don't
Maybe
think
Sean.
he'd go there.
Maybe even Brian Flores or someone. Maybe I don't know, but because maybe a defensive minded coach would be good for Dallas with a stacked defense. I don't know, but you need offensive help for Dak. That's
this
the thing.
franchise is always going to be terrible because we're never getting rid of the Jones family, and they can't make the right decisions.
Yeah.
True.
They want to control the whole.
And what
We're
is
never getting rid of them.
Yeah,
'cause
he
he's
doesn't-
selling the team to his son's getting the team after.
Yeah.
So we're just done for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's basically the coach. That's
My
what it is.
kids will be watching a Super Bowl before.
And I don't think they'd promote Kellen Moore. Probably not. They'd
I'd
probably let
love
him
that.
go. You'd rather that than
Eric Bieniemy could be a good fit for Dallas.
Yeah.
Kellen Moore's got to go. How far the Cowboys go? Yeah.
You don't like him?
He's
Dude.
one of the best offensive coordinators.
Dude, you got to be kidding me.
I mean, he
13
showed it.
seconds left, wild card last year.
Okay,
Ran a
that's-
QB
Fun play,
sneak.
though.
Okay, but that could have determined what got us to
But-
the divisional round of the playoffs last year.
Hey, the ref got in the way.
That
Yeah,
so though.
The ref got in the way.
All right, tell him where's the play caller.
Is he?
he is the play caller.
So what does Mike McCarthy do? Is he like more of just like a watch
He
everything
answers to
type?
That's what he does. He answers to Jerry Jones.
Like,
Yeah.
like is he more of an offensive guy, or does he control like special teams?
Ah, man, Jerry Jones is he's just everywhere. Like, he just wants to control. I mean, be the coach for crying out loud, Jerry. Like,
Yeah,
something.
you're good. I think Jerry Jones to let him work. I think Bieniemy would be a good fit for Dallas. Though he's a smart man.
Yeah.
He really is.
Yeah.
So who are you guys picking?
Dallas.
Dallas close.
See, I want to go Tampa, but like it's just because of Brady. But I think Dallas is the better roster, so they're gonna win. I think.
No, it's either going to be
It's
a really
gonna-
close game or one team's going to blow the other team out of the
Yeah.
water. That's how it's
I think it's. I don't know. It's gonna be tough.
As you
Yeah.
guys known this past year, every time I go with Buccaneers, somehow they seem to lose. Besides the one Panthers game I went with.
So go with the Buccaneers, please, for us. I guess.
I was gonna say I'm gonna go with Tampa though, but
You're gonna take Tampa?
But I just think if you look at the coaching's pretty even.
I don't think we've ever seen Tom Brady get first rounds in a while, have we? No.
Wait
I know
Monday night.
a decade and a half.
Monday night's
It's,
coming soon.
we'll have to see what happens there.
Yeah.
Washington game will be soon.
What do we got next?
That's it. That's it for
That's
your
all the
playoffs.
games.
All right, guys. So that is going to end our video here for today. So we're gonna just wait and see what happens after this week. Hopefully, a lot of things go the way we want it. But you know what?
We'll see what
There's
happens.
gonna be upsets. There's gonna be stuff. The playoffs are fun. Enjoy them. Thank you, Frank. Thank you, Nick. Thank you, Anthony. Enjoy, guys. Have a good one.